closer to your seat, to the edge of your seat, because God is getting ready to bless us real good. I'll present to some and introduce to others the dynamic, the incomparable, one of the baddest preachers anywhere in Southern Maryland, PG, DMV. Would you make some noise, scream real loud for the one and only Pastor Margo Gross? Make some noise.
Because you did the absolute most with that introduction. I'm going to keep this card too since you want to set me up. God bless you all. God bless you all. It is an honor to be in the house of hope. Be patient with me. I'm going somewhere. Amen? Amen. And if I could give a title to this message this morning, it would be Enough. 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 2 Kings 4, verses 1 through 6 read. 2 Kings 4, verses 1 through 6 reads, Now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets unto Elisha, saying, Thy servant my husband is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord, and the creditor is come to take unto him my 2 sons to be bondsmen. And Elisha said unto her, What shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in the house? And she said, Thine handmaid hath not anything in the house, save a pot of oil. Then he said, Go, borrow thee vessels abroad of all thy neighbors, even empty vessels, borrow not a few. And when thou art come in, thou shalt shut the door upon thee and upon thy son, and shalt pour out into all those vessels, and thou shalt set aside that which is full. So she went from him and shut the door upon her and upon her son, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured out. And it came to pass, when the vessels were full, that she said unto her son, Bring me yet a vessel. And he said unto her, There is not a vessel more. And the oil stayed. Widow, and she has 2 sons. Can you all help me kind of just put yourself in her seat for just a minute? You have 2 sons, your husband dies, leaving you a widow, and you have no other way to make ends meet and provide for your children. Is that not something you can relate to and feel a little bit like, dang, that's kind of messed up? We know this woman. This woman sits beside us in church sometimes. This woman works with us, the woman who has gone without. But to make matters worse, the text goes on to tell us that she was in fear because the creditors will come to take unto him her 2 sons. Wow. Oh, we got a messed up situation here. We have a woman who just had her husband die. She has 2 sons, and now the people who she owes, which means she's in debt, are now coming to get her 2 sons to serve off the debt that they didn't create. Wow. So it is with some of us. We're raising children, but we're raising them under such debt that when you leave them worse off than if you were ever here. And so this woman now has debt, and her children are now going to be forced to serve in servitude, almost like a slavery, for the debt that she incurred. And in the midst of that, she's still mourning the loss of her husband. He tells her to go borrow a whole lot of vessels from her neighbors. And he wants them to be empty vessels, and he tells her to not borrow just a few. And this again is where the text perplexed me, because my question here becomes, I told you I only had a little bit of oil. Why do I need to borrow all of these vessels and embarrass myself in front of my neighbors? We're not talking about where we live, where your neighbor could be way down the street, and if you went to borrow, nobody knows your business. We're talking about a real small community, some of you live in them, where if I go asking for things from one neighbor, it's going to make it around this neighborhood in 15 minutes that I'm out here begging. So he asks her to humble herself, because before God can bless you with what he needs you to bless you with, oftentimes part of the direction is humility. He asks her to go borrow from her neighbors abroad. In other words, go out to a long way, go around, don't borrow just a few, borrow a whole lot. And I'm sure in the back of her mind, she thought, all I have is this little tube of oil, and you want me to go out and borrow from everybody else? Why? It doesn't make sense. And that's my next point. Most of the time, when the man of God and God gives us instructions, it does not make sense. One, we have to humble ourselves. Two, it often doesn't make sense to our minds because it's not how we would have done it. But if you could have done it, you wouldn't need them to tell you up an elevator, the first thing that has to happen is the doors have to close. And so many of us are praying God open doors, and what we really should be praying is God close doors. Because I don't want to walk into nothing that's not for me. I don't want to walk into a broken elevator. I want this thing to work. So God, if this one ain't for me, I don't want the door opened. But the best things will happen behind closed doors. Typically, before you go up, the doors start to close. And if it's too much on the elevator to take you up, the doors won't close. Sometimes the reason why the doors aren't closed and you haven't started to go up because you got too much on the elevator with you. You need to kick some of them off so you can go on up. Now, many of us consider a closed door a lack of access. No. A closed door is protection. The reason why the elevator's closed is so that whatever's happening around the elevator doesn't affect what's happening in the elevator. I don't need to see where I'm going. I just need to know where I'm going. Oh, God, y'all missed it. When you get in the elevator, your faith is in operation. You press button 3, and where do you think that floor's going to go? Third floor. You don't ever question. You don't say, ooh, I know it's going to get there. Ooh. When the door is open, you don't go, oh my goodness, I don't know, it says 3. I don't know if this is 3 though, y'all. We should probably stay in here. No, you assume that if you press 3, you're going to end up on 3. And most of us running our mouths, we just walk right out. Like it's right there. We don't check to see if it's level with the ground. We don't make sure nothing's right. We just walk on out of the elevator. I dare you to have the type of faith that when God opens the door, you just walk on out there. You just assume that if the door is open, then it's my floor. I need you to see what her son's testimony is. This is a testimony. He says, there is not a vessel more. Meaning, everything we went and collected is full. We don't have nowhere else to put. Y'all missed it right here. I wouldn't ask for another vessel if she still ain't have oil. Oh my God, I love the word. I'm sorry, I get excited. So she's pouring. She must have had some left because she asked him, go give me another one. And the son reports back, Mom, there's no more vessels, but there's some more oil. That's the kind of God we serve, that he'll fill us again. Every time we pour out for him, he'll replace it to the point where we don't have enough room to store what God is doing. Pastor Luke, I'm here to tell you that what God is doing, you're not going to have enough room for, son. It's going to run over till everything that's attached to you is full, and you still going to have some left. I denounce the enemy that tells you that if you pour out, you're not going to have nothing. If you keep giving, you ain't going to have nothing. If you keep doing, your kids ain't going to have nothing. The devil is a liar. As long as I'm pouring, my God is replacing. As long as I'm pouring, my God is replacing.
Subscribe to iSoopa.com, also on the web, at Soopa Groop. View, follow, like.